Folks, so let's talk about schema validation, especially about Sebastian's pretty awesome schema validation plugin. So until now, what I used to do is I use Optic for schema validation, and it does have still features that that aren't related. Uh, Basically, like it will like the main thing about Optic is it will go and look at your API docs, whether they're JSON or YAML, and then it will verify uh, if they're valid. So let's just run it. So Optic, I think it was lint. So it will verify if those API docs are valid. And the nicer feature is it will actually compare Optic diff. It will actually compare whatever is your Open API doc on main or master. And then if there are any changes in your schema that are breaking, it's going to let you know. So right now, of course, there are no changes. It doesn't give you a notification, but when it does, it's very neat. So you've seen this before. I demoed it. It's very nice. The other feature of Optic that I like to use is running actual tests, whether they're Jest or Cypress, something on the wire against the local server. But Optic goes in there, proxies it, and then all the tests go through Optic, and that way it can actually verify your E2E test, your real test against the Open API. So this is how I used to do it. So you see Optic verify. So your local server has to be running, right? And then it runs it. And I do have a schema issue with my add movie endpoint because of the response that's being returned. There's just a mismatch in my routes versus the source code. By the way, my schema gets auto-generated from Zod, which is very, very neat. And I can talk about that later. But basically, it looks at my code, and from my code, source code, OpenAPI is immediately generated. And you can look at this repo for how that's being done. And all that good stuff is under OpenAPI generator and mostly there. And this one just makes a file. But basically, you use your Zod, and I put like a nice summary down here. You use your Zod, and then you define your OpenAPI schema, and then from your Zod schemas all the time, you have up-to-date OpenAPI docs. Anyway, let's say you have that, you have generated it, and then like you could use Optic to use your end-to-end test, check against your OpenAPI schema, it will find issues. But then I thought, okay, let me give a try to Sebastian's plugin. So I'll just do the setup here as he's describing. I'll just put it on the other screen right here. Let's just kill this thing, kill this thing. Okay, and then I already installed it, so I'll just do some copy pasting from the docs, so we don't have to do too much. So of course we import it, and then let's see, uh, we it says we need the type, so basic, I mean the schema to pass in, right? So my schema is at what is it? Well, import schema from somewhere in source, source API docs, and yeah, it works with JSON. So you need I generate both YAML and JSON, but so you need the JSON version. Okay, so you have the schema, and after that he says, so basically you just put validate schema, okay, and then you pass in the schema, but then the trick is, okay, let's do it this way. First, I don't like the type, but I did come up with a nice type that I think is going to work well. Let's see this. Okay, let's start Cypress. Side open local. Okay, so you have to pass in the path of the JSON, like whatever that is, right? And when you don't pass in the path, it will complain that you're not doing that. So if we run this, I think, select this. So I mean, it passes, but like you're not really this is the feedback, but like you're not verifying, you're not passing in a path. So you have to pass in some path. So let's just see. I'm gonna put this in the other screen. Okay, I can. So basically, you have to find the. This is the health path. Right? This is the get movies path. So all these, or this one, and then okay, I'll put this on the other screen and then I'll do it that way. Let's see. So this one is going to be what is that? So let's say the types are not going to work for yet, but I think we can make it work. So path, and then what is that? Components, create movie response. Let's see if I can get that from here. Create movie. Okay. Under paths response. Okay. Nope. Ah, response. Yeah. So this is path. Okay. And then I think, but the endpoint, obviously, right? How is that going to distinguish? Yeah. Okay, yeah, perfect. So you need these three things for sure. I mean, sometimes you don't need the method, but you want to. Anyway, so I know there is something breaking in there, like something not working there. Optic finds it, so this one finds it too, and I'm going to fix that later. So let's say, let's say we do that later. Um, it does actually. It does have types. I don't think I did. I leave the type in here. Yeah, I did leave the type here. So yeah, if you like the plugin doesn't have types, but you can basically copy paste this. So it takes a schema and then type I'm getting from OpenAPI types, whatever, like you might have different versions. So make sure you match the version. I think status is optional, but and method can be optional, but it's wise to pass in the method. So it's just going to be an object with path endpoint and method. So if you have this type, that should be fine. You'll find this in the PR. So like let's do the rest of them. So I'll just take this guy, and wherever we're making this call, like we can do something like this. So this is not going to be that. This is going to be get movie response right here, and then this is going to be get, and then the the path is movies. Does this work? So let's comment this out because I know it's failing. Okay, so that gives a green, and then like you could probably look up here. I mean, if it works, it just works. But if it doesn't work, it tells you so much about it that it lets you know. Anyway, so let's take this part. Get movie by ID. I'm guessing this is going to be slightly different. So I like how you can just chain in and you just pass in the schema. You just import your schema and then pass that. So get movie by ID. Uh, see this ID. So the path will be, yeah, make sure you don't use template literal, like this is the path from the schema. So don't use template literal because it's gonna look for the, like, let's see if this is like ID 100, it will look for ID 100 there, but it should be just looking for like literally just this thing. Uh, is that okay? La, la, la. Okay, not okay. Let me see. Yeah, so we have get moving by ID, get moving response movie. Aha. Yeah. So that should be okay, right? Yep, it's okay. And then delete. Okay, looks like I wasn't even doing any checking for delete, so we could just check that too. So should pop, and then should be something like status 200 and oh, it just gives a message. And you could check for the exact string or have like a relax check. It's okay. This one just relax check. So see that's okay. Yeah, that's okay in the test. Now, let's just validate the schema too. So this guy, where is this going to be? Actually, obviously, delete movie response, delete movie message. Oops. So I get that right there. Delete movie message, delete. Endpoint should be exactly the same. Yes. So all good. So all those, like, I can match everything this is doing to what Optic was doing, right? And I do have a failure here. So that's good. It's finding the like actual issues it's finding. I like it. I like it because, okay, so what are the pros of Optic? Well, you don't have to change any of your tests. Like if you have a test or multiple tests, you can just run that against your locally served server. I mean, it doesn't always have to be local. It can be remote too. And then it's going to find the thing. But if your test suites are long, tests are long, it's just like extra run, right? So extra run. So that might cost you. If you have a large repo, it might be costly because yeah, it takes time, right? It's just another CI that runs. This one, the pro is account, right? You can do spot checks. You can just add this to whatever test you have. You can keep adding it. Um, the work is basically just finding, hey, where is like where in my schema does this thing match? Or I like how it like teaches you to read schema files, so that's good. Um, but that's the work, right? You have to find the path. The endpoint is easy. Obviously, it's going to like 90% match. I just don't use template, just able to match the endpoint um, in the path. I mean, I think it's simple enough, right? It's fine. But you definitely want to get the types right, so you can just copy this. That's it. I like it. Pretty good stuff. Good stuff, Sebastian. Thank you for the plugin. Later.